everyone. First of all, I hope you can hear me. If you can't, please let me know in the chat. My Big Mac. Can you hear me first? Shannon. I hope you guys can. Hi, Melissa. Can you all hear me? Thank God. Okay. I don't know what happened. Don't know. But my Big Mac computer, the one I love so much and work on frequently every day, just suddenly quit. I don't know what happened. I can't get it to reboot. Yes, it's plugged in. That was the first thing I checked for. So I had to move my laptop over here. I had to hook up the webcam and my microphone and blah 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 blah. So yeah, ignore how I look. I stole a hoodie that my daughter left here. Hi, Emily. Hi, everybody. Oh, sweet. It pinged. Oh, yay. I'm so happy to hear that. Anyway, it's been a long flipping day, people. Just a really, 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 really long day. I'm dressing like you now. You know, normally I dress up for these things. And normally I dress up every day. But today was just a hoodie day. I think we hit a high of 34 maybe today, and the wind was just gnarly and outrageous. So I had everything set up on my Big Mac. Oh my God. Trying to pull up a news article that's like really, really important to tonight's discussion. I was prepared. Honest to God, I was prepared. And then the Big Mac went and 277. So now I've got to do all these things on my laptop that I don't have to do on my Big Mac. I don't know what my email address or my password is, you sons of guns. Oh, it was in the 50s there. Nice. Oh, thank you, Selena. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. For those of you coming in, if you could hit that like button, that would mean a lot to me. It helps us with our algorithms. Seriously, I was really, truly prepared. I was. Honest to God, I was prepared. I had it all set up, and then the Big Mac just went, and I can't get it to reboot. So it's not good when the computer goes down. Let's hope it's the power supply. I don't know what it is. I love this Big Mac. I don't want to have to replace it. Hi, Rita. That would make me cry. I've got enough crap going on in my life to not have to buy a new computer. Let's see here. Hopefully I can do it this way. Who knows? So I have been working all day. I was working on my blog. Oh yeah, 29 outskirts of St. Louis. You're not that far south of me, honey. It was freezing today. So those of you who followed me forever know that for a decade now, I've been the hot flash queen, right? Just the hot flash queen. And hot all the time. So I don't know what happened. I'm pretty sure it's medicine related. Now I'm cold all the time, right? And I have just a couple of long sleeve shirts. But they're the summer long sleeved with the billowy sleeves and all that. I don't have one long sleeve t-shirt. I have lots of sweaters, but they're just not, the cardigans, but they're just not warm enough. So I took to stealing hoodies, and I really need to go shopping. I really do. I hate shopping. I don't want to go, but I really need to go. And so I can quit stealing hoodies from people. I was never a hoodie stealer until the last few weeks, and this one is It's just it says Starved Rock, and it was one my daughter left here years ago. Go to the men's department. Okay, at Target. I can check that out, Christina. Thank you for that recommendation. Okay, first things first. Did anyone write today? Show of hands. Oh, make my chesticles merch. Yeah, I have chesticles merch. I just keep forgetting to share the link to the store. I don't know where hell it is. Um, I'll try to remember to grab those links for you. But yes, I have chesticles merch. Maybe I should just go buy one of my own sweatshirts, right? Uh, oh, you did? Great, Wendy. Who else wrote today? You used the new Sprinter thingy. Yay! I was not in Sprinter, the Discord Sprinter today, and I'm so very sorry. But the last 2 days have been nothing but end of year tax stuff. And it just, I just can't. I just can't do the writing and numbers at the same time. Writing and numbers just don't blend well in my head. I'm not a numbers person. Oh, I'm sorry, Ari Laurel. I hope he's okay. Um, good. Congratulations to everybody who got to write today, to everyone who used the Discord um, sprint group. That is awesome. And hey, congratulations, everyone. If you hear any noise, it's my husband in the kitchen looking for something to eat, even though I told him we had leftover tuna casserole. Good for you, Dawn. Everybody who got to write today, just congratulations. Always taking care of the trash. Yay. Um, yeah, fireworks. I do that for anyone who wrote on the day that we do lives. I do a little congratulations with fireworks. Hi, Lori. Anyway, just a very long flippin' day. Now I've got to use my laptop mouse. I left my good mouse over on the other desk. Is Susan prepared like she should be? Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. Let's see if we can do. Okay. Yeah, no one hacked. That's just what I do. Hi, Amy. Yeah, anytime anybody writes, we do the fireworks. Mega long day. Yes, mega long day. Just, and I need a new haircut. I was supposed to get it cut this week, but my stylist called or texted, very sick, fevers, the whole 9 yards. So I have to reschedule. So I'm just making do with what I got. That's what today was about, is just making do with what you got, getting done. Not that writing isn't important, because it really, really, truly, honest to God is. Writing is what makes our money, right? But the year-end tax stuff just has to be taken care of, right? And oh, thank you, Patty. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm glad today is almost over too. Um, in fact, I'm tempted to sneak around the corner and grab a shot glass full of whiskey. Um, uh, but I know better. This could get ugly if I start drinking. Linda says she finished a short story while January releases with editor. Now onto her new WIP. Congratulations, Linda. Good for you. Um, I think we have a lot of new people here that I haven't seen before. Or you could have been here before, and chat was moving so fast I couldn't see who was here. So for those who are just joining us, if you could just say hello in the chat so I know who's here, because I use Restream, and it doesn't tell me who is here watching. Anyway, yeah, it's Friday the 13th, right? I didn't realize that until about an hour and a half ago. I'm just like, that's how busy I was today. I didn't even know. So I feel sorry for all the police officers and first responders and nurses, ER doctors, all that, because they will tell you Friday the 13th means something. And so do full moons. And a full moon on Friday the 13th is like a double whammy. So, hi, C. Lynn. Hi, Melissa. Anyway, just a lot of stuff happening today. A lot of stuff. And I'm not quite sure where I should begin. Right? Oh, good. It's not a full moon. Yay. Um, let's address Susan Meacham. Okay. I have a long list of things that I want to talk about tonight, but we're going to get Meechin out of the way. I personally am done. I'm just sick and tired of hearing her name, sick and tired of talking about her. But I know it's important because what she did affected so many of us in our community, right? It just did. And this entire week, my inbox, my messages on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, they've just exploded with Meechin crap, right? And a lot of people have shared posts, screen grabs of stuff that has been sent to them or that they caught online or whatever. Now, just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true. Case in point, Susan Meechin faked her own death and then came back from the great beyond. So the faking of her own unaliving, we all believed it because it was on the internet, right? Well, that just proves my point. There are a bunch of screen grabs just being shared all over the place that aren't real. And we're pretty sure who is behind these screenshots. And we have affectionately nicknamed him Maximus Dickus. Okay. And Maximus Dickus can just bite me. Just because you're seeing these supposed quotes from Susan Meechin doesn't mean they're true. Doesn't mean they're false, but it also doesn't mean it's true. And we are still trying to find out, but all of our investigations so far has led us to believe that parts where she says, I've got a Netflix deal, blah, 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 all of that, she never said it. If those aren't real, this is Maximus Dickus and his people stirring up trouble. Okay? That name will never get old. No, it won't. In addition to that, we have discovered that last week we read the Upstream article and her supposed response. That too was fake. The response was fake. The author of that article, of that Upstream article, didn't have a clue that he was actually not talking to Susan Meechin. Okay? So yeah, there are so many lies and so much bullshit to parse through, to dig through, to wade through to get to the truth. Here's what we know so far. Number one, she did fake her own unaliving. Number two, she did say, let the fun begin. After that, we don't know what to believe. But I am 1,000% certain that it's Maximus Dickus behind all these. Yeah, Maximus Dickus is stirring the pot. He is posting all these screen grabs, and they're fake. They're absolutely fake. And as we all know, you can fake anything with Photoshop. Hell, I could make myself look like a size 8 with no wrinkles. Look like I did back in the day when I had a neck and collagen. Yes, that was fake, Melissa. The interview where she says she owes no one anything was fake. We have confirmed that. Now, moving forward, don't share anything unless you have absolute, undisputable, verifiable proof that she actually posted it or said it. Okay? Quit sharing those screen grabs. You don't have to send them to me. I know they're out there. As far as I know, she's trying to lay really low right now, and she's not posting anything to social media because there are several really important investigations that are taking place, and that's all I can say about that. Okay. Hi, Rhonda. So, with that said, we're still basically on the Susan Meechin thingy, but share screen. Open system. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, for heaven's sakes, D. Isn't it bad that I have to later? Okay. I don't want it to record. I just want to be able to share my screen. Thank you. Um, window. Let's see. Where is it? Is it this one? Okay. So I'm not sure if you all were able to read these two articles that we're going to talk about tonight before we went live. I didn't get a chance to post until about 30 minutes ago. Well, it's the story itself, Melissa, about someone faking her own unaliving and then coming back from the great beyond. That portion of the story, I mean, come on. If it was an actor who had done that, or a politician, or an Olympian, anybody like that in any career, a doctor, a nurse, um, garbage collector, whatever, if we had heard about that, we would want to know more about it. I think what everybody wants to know is why she did it, right? So it is an intriguing story across the board, not just for fellow authors and readers, but people in general, right? They just want to know what the hell happened, right? Because seriously, this does not happen every day, right? It's like a woman who fakes her own kidnapping, or a man who fakes his own unaliving so he can go start a new life in Vegas with his, 22-year-old double D mistress, right? Okay, Wendy, I say unaliving because there are certain words that we are not allowed to say on YouTube. Okay, so we use unaliving, we use just different words. Yeah, well, YouTube has a really weird rule. So if you didn't see those articles, if you didn't click on those links, I'm going to read you something. I can't share it, but I can read it to you, and I can put the link in the chat, and you all can follow along. How's that sound? Sound good? Okay. So this was in the New York Times today, and it's an opinion guest essay by an author named Megan Greenwell, right? The title of it is The Romance Novelist Who Faked Her Own DEATH. There are many ways to make yourself Twitter's main character for a day, but faking your own unaliving might be the most reliable. As remote work types struggled to awake from their holiday season hibernation last week, we were jolted by a particularly juicy tidbit. Susan Meachin, a prolific, no, she was not prolific. She was not prolific. She was not prolific. I object, Your Honor. I object to the use of that word because it's false. Okay, so prolific really pissed me off. Self-published romance novelist who sued that word, ostensibly a reaction to low book sales and bullying by fellow authors. I also object to that fact because the bullying still has not yet to be proven true. Okay. Had been announced 2 years ago, returned to the internet very much alive. Let the fun begin, she concluded, a social media post announcing her resurrection. The fun did begin, though, on a much larger scale than she likely expected. She'd announced her return to the 700 or so fans and fellow writers who still followed her Facebook page, but the news spread fast. Within a day, millions more had read about her. Book Talk was overtaken with videos of creators recapping the events or setting their disbelief to song. Suddenly, scores of people who, like me, didn't know the difference between an HEA and an HFN ending, happily ever after or happily for now, were immersing themselves in the internal drama of a tiny group of indie romance authors. First of all, honey, we ain't tiny. There are literally thousands of us. It is not a tiny group. Few topics are less funny than unaliving, and Ms. Meechan caused genuine pain to people who cared about her. There's also a question of actual fraud since her relatives allegedly crowdsourced money for her funeral. But the deeper reporters and amateur sleuths dive down the rabbit hole, the more bizarre and yes, amusing the details. She appears to have created a fake account to resume running her Facebook group, The Ward, after her purported unaliving. She or a relative convinced other writers to edit her last book for free in time to present it as a posthumous wedding present to Ms. Meechan's daughter. Her novels, with their stock cover images and generic, I hate that, just bite me, Greenwell, titles like Stolen Moments and My Crush are filled with dark secrets and untimely. On multiple occasions over the 2 years Miss Meechan was believed to be gone, her daughter or assistant threatened to remove her books from Amazon because not enough people were buying them. One post from Ms. Meechan's Facebook account, written from the perspective of her daughter, included the sentence, "Unalived people don't post on social media. If none of this makes you giggle, you're a stronger person than I." The story seemed to strike a particular chord with those in and around the more established and more prestigious corners of the publishing industry. While Miss Meechan and the other writers who befriended her virtually refer to their community as the book world, what they're talking about has little to do. I don't even understand what that means. Wrote the book critic Laura Miller in Slate. A trace of condescension creeping in with the mainstream publishing industry, the professionals who work in it, and authors whose books fill your local bookstore. Rather, she said, Meechan's Book World is the community of self published romance and erotica writers who sell low cost ebooks and print on demand paperbacks. Yeah, low cost. Okay, I charge $4.99 for my books. Some are only 99 cents. So I don't have to charge $14.99 like the New York publishing houses charge. I sell my books for $4.99 because one, I can. Two, my readers love my books and I don't want them to feel like they're being, I don't know. I know what the word is, but I can't use it on YouTube. I do that because for lots of different reasons. Okay. Most of people, especially in today's economy, can't afford $14.99 for an ebook, right? Just pisses me off to no end. Back to it, shall we? All the talk of the book world and how Miss Meechan's death had, as a former friend said, ripped it in half, did seem a bit overblown. Overblown? Really, Miss Greenwell? Overblown? You haven't even published your first book yet, and your first book that's coming out is nonfiction. You don't have a freaking clue. You don't have a flipping clue on how the book world works. So again, I say to you, rather affectionately, bite me. It did seem a bit overblown, but it also doesn't seem quite accurate to argue that the rarefied realm of Manhattan-based Big Five publishers is any more real than the comparatively. This is the one word that really set me off this afternoon. Lowbrow one of self-published romances. Lowbrow. Did you hear that, folks? Lowbrow. So our books are low cost and lowbrow. Oh, I've got a blog post that is going live tonight. My daughter is final proofing it for me now. And this just pisses me off. This elitist attitude that because we are self-published, we're not worthy, right? We can't play in their big pond in New York City. Well, guess what, honey? We don't want to. We don't want to. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. there would have to be dozens of zeros. Well, lots and lots and lots of zeros at the end of a check before I even considered writing for a traditional publishing house. Okay? Here's why. One, I get to write what I want and how I want. If I don't want sex scenes in a book, I don't have to put sex scenes in a book. I don't have to listen to a publishing house's editor saying, you need to add 3 more sex scenes. I don't have to do that. I am in charge of my writing. I get to pick my own covers. Okay? I have beautiful covers created by Dar Albert with wicked smart designs, right? And they're beautiful. And some of these traditional publishing houses have awesome, beautiful, wickedly cool covers, but not all do. Some of them are pretty shitty, but it doesn't matter what the author thinks, they have no control over the covers. Okay? I'm in charge of everything. I get to choose my editor and develop that relationship with her or him. I get to choose the people that I work with. My final proofer, in all full disclosure, is my daughter, and she's wicked awesome. Perfect Pages Final Proofing Services. Okay. But most of all, I get to keep all the money, right? Except, I do have to pay for my editor. I do have to pay for my cover artist. I do pay for my final proofer. There's advertising, and then dear old Uncle Sam, who really loves me. Okay. So lowbrow and low cost? No. You can have your New York publishing houses. You can. If that makes you happy, fine. I'm happy for you. If you need a traditional publishing house behind you, that's fabulous. That's fine. But you don't get to turn up your nose at those of us who don't have a traditional publishing house. There are also some of us who are hybrid. They self-publish and they have contracts with one of the big publishing houses, right? Yeah, the publishing houses don't do any advertising for you, right? You got to do it yourself. So this just lowbrow, low-cost crap just pisses me off. It's beyond insulting. It's infuriating. Let's go read some more. The vast majority of books are self-published. For Ms. Meechan, the choice to go that route may not have been much of a choice at all. Her creative use of capitalization and punctuation would have made her an unlikely prospect for Knopf. But there are plenty of very talented Black, I hate the word Latinx, Asian, Native American, I'm not going to say some of these words, who have looked at the industry's long record of discrimination and concluded that self-publishing was the only outlet open to them. And it is, right? We welcome everybody. Everybody's welcome. Colleen Hoover, currently the most popular author in the world by a massive margin, attracted publishing houses' attention only after her self-published novels became bestsellers. And the legitimate book world has had plenty of its own drama in the past few years, from the Naomi Wolf book, yeah. Okay, so first she says that we're low cost, low brow, right? Low cost, low brow. And yes, I'm going to have t-shirts with that on it. I'm low cost and low brow, okay? But I got really big chesticles. Anyway, so she proves my argument for me, right? The first part of this article is all about how, we're not worthy, we have to bow before, the publishing house's feet. But Colleen Hoover, who started out as an indie author and has made a lot of money and sold millions of books around the world, suddenly she got a contract. Well, how do you suppose she did that, Miss Greenwell? How did she sell those low-cost, low-brow books? That's what I would like to know. How do you think she did that? Do you think her writing sucks? I know it doesn't, because I've read some Colleen Hoover, and she's a fabulous writer. So how on earth did she sell so many that she gained the attention of a traditional publishing house? Could it be that her writing was absolutely phenomenal and that her readers loved her stories? and that she sold more copies of one of her books in 1 month than you will ever sell in a freaking lifetime. Could it be that? I think so. Yeah, she makes me want to let my claws out too, honey. Um, for people in mainstream book publishing, the Meacham saga may also have provided, yeah, a welcome distraction from their own problems. After a healthy bump in sales during the pandemic, disappointing 2022 numbers combined with a looming recession have led to hiring slowdowns and layoff. Blah, 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 blah. Um, So the publishing industry's workforce remains far, far, whatever. Yet executives seem to have no interest in making the industry more accessible to brilliant young minds who don't come from generational wealth. What the fuck that has it? What the hell that has to do with anything? I don't know. But it pissed me off. Lowbrow, low cost. No, and I'm got a blog post that's going to go up tonight. My daughter is proofing it, um, trying to make it sound far less pissed off than what I was when I wrote it, because that's important. Okay. So that was from Megan Greenwell, a guest writer for the New York Times. Another story is one by Laura Miller titled The Big Flounce. The story of the romance novelist who allegedly faked her own unaliving isn't a story about the book world at all. It's not. So I'm going to read from this, okay? The story has been catnip to many media outlets, including now this one, meaning Slate. On Tuesday, an author who supposedly ended her life 2 years ago suddenly announced in a Facebook group that she isn't gone after all. The strange tale went viral when a fellow author who knew Susan Meacham from online interactions posted the revelation and included screenshots, blah, blah, blah. The real hook here is that both the alleged perp and her victims are book authors. Would a similar scandal among, say, knitting enthusiasts or vegetable gardeners get the same press? Damn straight it would. Damn straight it would. I will answer that question for you, Ms. Miller. It would, because this is something that does not happen every day. Okay? It happens, but not every day. And what you fail to take into consideration at this point is the damage it's caused. Let's see. The real hook here is that both the alleged perp and her victims are book authors, blah, blah, blah. Get the same press? No. The Susan Meacham story has been further spiced by the news that persons claiming to be her family members had posted comments on Facebook following her alleged unaliving, claiming that bullying in the book world drove the writer to take her own life. It's a double dose of the delicious spectacle of authors behaving badly. Okay, I'm taking exception to that. It isn't authors behaving badly, Ms. Miller. It is one author, and her name is Susan Meacham. We did nothing. This isn't multiple authors. This is one. There's the alleged harassers. The literary scene is so nasty. And what appears to be a shameless bid on Meacham's part to goose sales of her final novel, Love to Last a Lifetime, purported to be a wedding gift, blah, 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 blah. Far be it from me to let the literary world off the hook for its many scandals and authorial shenanigans, but a closer look and an interview with Cole, the writer whose post went viral, makes it clear that that's not what this story is really about. Rather, it's a tale as old as the internet. An insular online community turns toxic and claustrophobic, and drama ensues. No, that's not true. Not true. Not true. Not true. That's your opinion. The vast majority of us in the book world, and yes, it's the book world, it's our book world, we don't pull shit like this, okay? We work hard, we work every day, we have friendships, we have people that we absolutely adore that we may not have met in person, but we talk to on the phone all the time. Um, the book world itself, the community book world, is not nasty. It's not filled with drama on a daily basis. This is one instant. Yes, there have been others. Copy paste Chris, for instance. Mm. Okay. While Meechan and the other writers who befriended her virtually refer to their community as the book world, what they're talking about has little to do with what most outsiders would associate with that term. The mainstream publishing industry, the professionals who work in it, and the authors whose books fill your local bookstore. Meechan's book world is the community of self published romance and erotica writers who sell low cost ebooks and print on demand paperbacks primarily through Amazon. The Kindle edition of Love to Last a Lifetime costs $2.99, although you can read it for free if you subscribe to Kindle Unlimited. The notion that Meechan could cash in by faking her own unaliving in order to sell a $3 ebook to this tiny audience. She really thinks that readers, romance readers, readers in general, are so elite, such elitists, that they only read books that are traditionally published. Well, you too, Miss Greenwell, can bite my once fabulous ass. Perhaps Meechan's definition of success is modest enough to be satisfied by a sales bump of a handful of copies. Posts to Meechan's Facebook page by the daughter and direct messages Meechan recently sent to Cole indicate that her book sales were zero before and after her faked unaliving. But even if the gambit had boosted her sales, Meechan wouldn't have been in a position to capitalize on it much. A unalived author can't publish new titles. Instead of a publicity stunt, Meechan's exit from the book world reads more like an old-school internet flounce. There's a long history in online communities of members faking terminal illnesses and unalivings, sometimes to grift donations for medical treatment or memorial services. Meechan did this, but often just for the drama, the attention, and maybe most importantly, the chance to shame their enemies. A live journal page dedicated to fake unalivings on that platform features many stories, some dating back to the early 2000s, that resemble Meechan's in certain details, such as complaints by alleged family members about how the community treated the deceased. Who among us, having lost a loved one, would not log into their social media accounts to continue prosecuting their online beefs? Call it Meechan's Law. The longer a tightly knit internet community exists, the more likelihood that someone will fake their own unaliving approaches one. I have so much to say, so much to say, but I have to choose the nice words because I don't want to get kicked off YouTube, and I don't want to embarrass anybody who might be here and might be offended by naughty words, right? Sorry, I have to check this. Okay. So a friend of mine down south, there were tornadoes in the area, and I was just checking earlier to make sure they were okay, and they are. I gotta move this. Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, Angie makes a great point. We're going to show this. I bet she's read 50 Shades of Grey. She was a fan fiction and self-published writer. Exactly. Okay. Your vast majority of readers don't care who published the book. They just want to read the book, right? They don't care, and they don't know, and they don't pay attention, and that's fine. Celine Moore says, okay, Susan, I've been looking solely for independent authors for a very long time. I support as many as I can by purchasing their books. So this entire indie author crap is ticking me off. You and others work extremely hard for our entertainment. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And we do it because we love it, right? We do. We love it. We love writing. We love interacting with our people. We love our readers. Yeah, it made my head hurt too. They're both clueless. They are both clueless. Both of these women Yeah, I'll have a blog post later. As soon as Emily is done editing that son of a gun, it's going up because right? It just. Oh, well, I'm glad you're okay, Sherry. Um, she's not done with it yet. She said she had a lot of work to do with it because I was mad. It's not just for romance authors. The man who wrote The Shack couldn't get published, so he self-published, and then the big houses wanted to buy that book. Exactly. Hi, Editha. Exactly. Exactly. So, I would. Now, I haven't read Miss Greenwell's novel because it hasn't been published yet, and this will be her first novel, and it is nonfiction. And I know you should never compare apples to oranges, right? You shouldn't do that. But I would be willing to go out on a limb. I hope I don't sound pretentious, arrogant, or anything. That my book sells more than her. Any one of my books has sold more or will sell more than hers will. And I know that sounds arrogant, and I'm sorry, but it just pisses me off. The elitism is what pissed me off. Yeah. She probably doesn't read romance books. There's a lot of people who refuse to because, ooh, romance. Because they have this preconceived notion that romance novels are just filled from front to cover with sex, or they're bodice rippers, when you think of historical romance novels. And they look down their noses at us. But you know what? The romance genre is the biggest selling genre of books in the entire world. Hands down, leaps and bounds. See, Moore, you're funny. So yeah, that's what I was pissed off about this afternoon when people started sending me these links and I'm reading them and I'm like, oh, good Lord. Lowbrow, low cost, low rent. Maybe that should be on our shirt. Low brow, low cost, low rent, big chesticles. I'll think about it. You hated Harlequins back in the day. You grew up on bodice rippers. I read contemporary Harlequins in high school, a couple of them. I liked them. No, I don't think all the big house authors are totally clueless. I really don't. Okay. Let's take Nora Roberts, for instance. Never once has she said anything negative about indie published authors, right? I've actually got to talk via email with her, and she's one of the kindest, sweetest women. Seriously, very intelligent. I just want to be Nora Roberts when I grow up. She's my idol. She is. I read everything, right? Everything. I don't stick to just one genre. I read contemporary romance. I love sci-fi. I do. I love fantasy. Some of my favorite fantasy authors, Piers Anthony, the whole Land of Xanth novels. Terry Maggart, he's freaking awesome. Yeah, Dinah's right. Nora Roberts has actually encouraged people to write, and she is very sweet. So I'll read Western historicals. I'll read Louis L'Amour. I love Louis L'Amour novels. I don't know if I can say Nora Roberts is my spirit animal. I don't know if that's insulting or not. Yeah, I loved Piers Anthony. Definitely. Isaac Asimov, loved him, loved his books. So I read a vast majority of things, but I rarely read nonfiction. I want to be entertained when I read. I do. There's some nonfiction that I will read because, for whatever reason. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts? Tell me in the chat. Well, you have been telling me, and I can't keep up. But yeah, it totally blew my mind how they could have such an attitude. And I can guarantee you that they've read books that they didn't know were by indie authors, or they are at such have such a high opinion of themselves that they actually do look to see who published the novel. Who knows? Every writer must start at the beginning. That is true, Angie G. Oh, I love Julie Garwood. I do. Linda says, I read horror and write romance. It's my sweet and salty. Oh, I do love autobiographies. I do, Sherry. Um, oh, Sherilyn Kenyon. Yeah. Yep. You were in a meeting a few weeks ago with Sherilyn Kenyon, Bobby Gordon, and you did not freaking tell me. I'm gonna call you when this live stream is over, girl. You and I are gonna talk. Um, yeah, they people trash romance all the time, and I don't know why they do. I don't know why. Um, because they're damn good books, right? Yes. Um, I write historical romance, right? But they're not what anybody would consider a bodice ripper, right? I have mystery and intrigue, bad guys, and sometimes I might have a serial killer or two, but that's not what they called them back then. Um, there's lots of humor. Uh, some of my books don't. Yeah, all the you know fun time goes on behind closed doors, but nobody cares. It's the story and how it's written. That's what they care about. Yeah, I know they don't do bodice rippers anymore. I know. Yep. Yeah, I read to escape the real world for a few hours, don't we all? Right? Um, I read Regency. I read everything. Okay. Um, some of it's good. Really, really, really good. Really, really, really good. Um, some of it not so good, and I can't finish, but that's okay. Um, but yeah, that elitist attitude, that just I would rather be stranded on a deserted island with 1,000 uneducated rednecks, hillbillies, mountain people, whatever you want to call them, than one elitist. Well, hi, honey. You want to say hi? No? My hubby. Anyway, I would rather be on a deserted island with them than one elitist. And here's why. And the rednecks, mountain folk, hillbillies, Appalachian Americans, whatever you want to call them, are the best people that I've ever met in my entire life. So, number one, not only would they make the adventure fun, they would be finding ways for us to survive and eat and building shelters, but they would also be finding a way off the island, right? They would all work together to get through it. The elitist is going to sit on a dead log and do nothing but bitch about why they're on this stranded island and whose fault it is. No solutions, just a lot of big fancy words and complaining and arrogance and yeah, so that's just how I feel about it. Yeah, redneck engineering is inspiring. You've got that, sister. My God, the chat's moving so fast I can't keep up. I'm so sorry. Okay. I just love that you all read a wide variety of books. I do. Now, my questions for the group, for everyone who's here is, let's say you have a favorite author who's always written historical romance and releases something contemporary, whether it's romance or mysteries or police procedurals or a thriller or whatever. Would you read that book? I'm just curious. If your author steps out your favorite one of your favorite authors steps out of the genre that you are used to them writing, will you read their books in other genres? Good, because we read everything, right? Um, I'm sorry, my husband's distracting me. Okay, cool. That's good to know. That's good to know because, behind the scenes, we ask a lot of questions. Pamela Claire's the perfect example. You love her. Okay, Jackie says her favorite author writes mostly mysteries, but she loves her sci-fi as well, right? Nora Roberts, the perfect example. Nora Roberts writes as J.D. Robb. Yeah, well, I stepped out of my comfort zone once and wrote a paranormal fantasy romance in The Echo of a Kiss, and it is still to this day one of my favorite novels. And I'm sorry, I had to move everything, so now my cords are I'm all tangled up. Anyway, even though it was out of my comfort zone, I still loved writing that book. I think it's a good book. I really do. So I think as authors, we do need to expand our horizons and test new waters. Oh boy, the chat is going fast. I'm just so glad you're all here tonight. Yes, I gave you a really big glimpse of my wrinkles. Here's what's going on. So I've lost a lot of weight, especially a lot of weight recently, with the new medication. And I love that it's falling off of everywhere, neck down, right? Love that. But I no longer have fat filling in my wrinkles on my face. And when I look in the mirror, I go, who? Where the hell did those come from? Sorry about that. Squirrel moment. Shannon, I love you, honey. I do. Yes, I did feel refreshed, and it was exciting. It was nerve-wracking as hell, and I was absolutely terrified because, yes, I have read paranormal. I've read some fantasy novels, but I'd never written it. And I think I was stressed and worried more about this little book than any book I've ever written. It's called In the Echo of a Kiss, Shannon. Um, but the reviews on it have been spectacular. And they're like, when are you going to write another one? Well, hell, I don't know. Um, yeah. Um, and the other one, it was still historical romance, but it was set in Italy, Tudor Italy, called The Edge of Forever. It was originally titled The King's Courtesan. To this day, I know without beyond a shadow of a doubt that that is the best book I've ever written. And I absolutely love that book. And it's not your typical romance novel. And I'd never written anything like that before. There was because I used real life characters in real settings. And I did so much research on that novel. It was ridiculous. I think I ended up with 9 dry erase boards and I don't know how many poster boards, just outlining and research and just, oh man, but that is still one of my most favorite novels. And you will need tissues at the end. Just trust me. Just have them ready. It might not be everyone's idea of a happy ending. And that's all I'm going to say. You will need a box of Kleenex. Well, Jennifer Rose, I challenge you to do that. I don't know what mine falls under. Paranormal, fantasy. I'm not sure. It takes place in ancient Ireland. And yeah, it was fun. It was a fun one to write. Thank you, Sherry. I hope you guys like it. But yeah, The Edge of Forever. My editor is a New York Times best-selling author. I was now an indie published author. And when she was done reading that book, she forgot she was supposed to edit and she just got lost in the book, is what she told me. And called me up crying hysterically when she was done, and then called me a bitch for making her cry. There's far more to that story, but I don't want to bore you guys with it. Um, Melissa says, I think authors are amazing because you guys can do something I haven't been able to do. Right? But I admire people who can sing, right? My mom's entire side of the family, everybody, all of them, can sing. And I mean, beautifully sing. Wickedly talented musicians, singers. These people just blow my socks off. I couldn't carry a tune with a bucket, two handles, and a guide. But it is fun. I love transporting people to a different place and time. And yes, thank you, Melissa. I do. I do. I do. I love that part of it. Um, and it's a great escape from the real world, right? I can create a world where I'm in complete control. Linda says a major problem with writing in a particular genre is that there are some authors who all write basically the same thing, same story plot, with just different characters' names. So when you also, I think all my books are different. I know there's a big difference between each of my heroines. Sometimes I worry that my heroes are much, far too similar to one another. Um, but I like my heroes. I do. I love my heroines. Yeah, but I try to. Oh, Amy says I'm a radio singer. If the radio is on, I can hit every note, turn the radio off, and it's horrible. Oh, Amy, that's hilarious. Um, yeah, I don't want to be lumped into one category forever. I would like to stretch my horizons. Um, oh, Shannon, that's okay, honey. If you need to go lay down, go lay down. I know it's late for you. She who gets up at 4:30 in the morning. Um, so I try to make each book as different as possible. Um, I like to I really try hard um, to make the characters as different as possible from one another. I have a lot of fun with my secondary characters. I love you, Shannon. Um, and I really do try hard. Oh my goodness, I read The Edge of Forever, didn't realize. Oh, well, thank you, Jennifer Rose. Yep, that was me. Did you like it, Jennifer? I always like talking to people about that particular book that I wrote. I like to get their opinions. Angie says Amy is her spirit animal. 2018? You read it in 2018? Yep. I love that book. God, I love that book. I love that book. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I'm so glad. Did you cry at the end? I know I did. It took me 4 hours to write that tiny, 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 tiny little epilogue. Oh, Celine Moore says Rowan's Lady need about 20 more of those. That was a fun book. The women in that book, Lady Arlene and Geraldine and Moreland. Okay, Lady Arlene was modeled after my mother Arlene, and Geraldine and Moreland were modeled after my mom's. She called them her sisters, Aunt Jerry, who is actually not an aunt, and Aunt Marilyn, who is actually my mother's cousin. I modeled them after them. Oh, you needed a whole box of Kleenex, right? But it was still a good book, wasn't it? That's the one book I've written that I really wish it could be turned into a beautiful, beautiful period drama movie. We are storytellers of various styles and genres. Imagine how storytellers were back centuries ago that spoke. Yeah. What Jennifer says, I have a hard time writing a sweet, happy-go-lucky character. What do you do when you have a challenging character? Well, it depends on how they're challenging me, Jennifer. Usually they don't. Do you mean, I don't know what you mean by challenging. Aw. If you mean they're challenging you in your head and your heart to write them correctly, that doesn't happen to me. And I don't know why. I think it's a spiritual gift from God, and I hope that doesn't sound weird, but when I go to start writing a book, the more I write, I have a general idea of who my characters are and what they're all about. Um, but as I write, the more I write these characters, the more in tune with them I am. Does that make sense? Um, I don't know if I'm just lucky. It could be luck. It could be insanity. It could be a gift from God. I really don't know. It's like, where do you get your ideas from? A smell, a commercial, a sunset, an illness, whatever. They come from everywhere. Um, oh, your mom's name is Geraldine? Yeah, I have an Aunt Jerry. Um, could be all three. Yes, it could be a blend of all of the above. So, Shannon, honey, are you still here? If you are, could you please post the link to the Discord group? For those of you who might not have been with us Wednesday night, we have started a channel on Discord called the Cheeky Cafe and Sprinting Group, something like that. Shannon thought of it all. I loved what she called it. Anyway, if you could share the link to the Discord channel in here. We do have, for those of you who would like to join us for sprinting sessions, you can find somebody hopefully 24/7 as our group builds. But there is a verification process that's very, very important. And the reason we're doing this verification process where it takes you to a Google Doc and you have to fill out and supply links and stuff, is so that we don't have to deal with people like the Maximus Dickimuses of the world. Okay. So if you'd like to find a sprinting partner, that is the best place to go. And I hope you will join us. The Cheeky Cafe and Sprints. Thank you, Amy Fentley. I appreciate that. Celine Moore asks, do you find yourself driving somewhere and thinking about what your characters could be doing or just forming scenes all the time? All the time. And believe it or not, one of my most favorite ways to write or places to write is when I'm in the truck with Kevin and he's driving, of course, and we're just going wherever. And I'm just sitting there. I have my laptop. I have my little laptop lap table thingy. And he's listening to his country music. And he's got, he's just gently talking to me. If it's important, he will really interrupt. But just that sensation of being in the truck, driving somewhere and writing, I absolutely love that. I love to write on airplanes, right? I would love to write on a train sometime. He has a real name, but we're not sharing it, Diana. We refuse to give him any publicity. Yeah. Let's see. Sometimes the character does not talk as much as others. Yeah, that will happen, but maybe, just maybe, it's not time for that character to talk to you yet. Just saying, it's a possibility. Let's see. I'm trying to go back in the chat and read because it's really hard to keep up. There was 40 of us here at one time. Let's see. Melissa says, I've tried to write in my head and get these great ideas, and by page 2, the story is finished. Hey, there's nothing wrong with short stories. Look at Neil Gaiman, right? Go read some of his short stories that are only, 3 paragraphs long. Seriously, I love him. God, I love him. Holly's favorite place to write is in the mountains. Gosh, sorry. Is in the Mountain View Cemetery, but then I write supernatural horror. Go for it, sister. I can't read horror. Okay, I cannot read Stephen King. I just can't. I read his Cujo. Scared the hell out of me. I read. Is he the one that wrote Amityville Horror? Who wrote that one? And then who's the other guy? Dean Koontz. Cannot read Dean Koontz. Dean Koontz is a phenomenal author, right? Great author. But his stories scare the living hell right out of me. Like nightmares. Like I have to sleep with a light on. Okay? I can't. He's that good. He scares the hell out of me and I ain't afraid of nothing. Dean Koontz, yeah. Yep. Um have you ever named a character in mid story change the name because it just didn't fit? I don't know if I've done that, Celine Moore. I really don't. It's possible. I can't remember. Usually, um, I will mull the idea in my mind for a little while, and sometimes, like I'm in the middle of the story and I'm like, oh man, new character in my head, got to put him in here, and I just go do a Google search for 14th century Scottish names for men, and I will browse through it. I'm like, oh, that one's cool. I pick it, and that's how. So, oh, the Odd Thomas books. I did read those. I did read those. I think I read the first one. Yeah, they're just scary. Just scary. Oh, Jay Anson wrote Amityville Horror. Okay, when I was 13, I think 12 or 13, that's when that book came out. And my mother, if anybody who's followed me knows, she was a voracious reader. I mean, this woman read every single freaking day. I get woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning. My dad worked third shift and mom worked days. And she woke me up at 3:30 in the morning going, scoot over. I'm like, what? Why? I just read the scariest book called The Amityville Horror and I don't want to be alone. She slept every night with me for a week. It was hilarious. Yeah, I don't want my mind to go into overdrive. It's in overdrive enough. I mean, I got a lot of stuff going on up here. So, but I read a lot of other people, but I can't do horror. Horror scares me. I can't do horror films. I can't, like Friday the 13th or My Bloody Valentine or, Chainsaw Man. I can't. I can't watch those. They gross me out. They do. Anyway. Oh my gosh, it's 20 till 8. Okay. Well, I'm going to sign off. And, oh, Amy, The Dark Shadows. I remember my mom telling me that she caught me and my cousin Rhonda watching that when we were in kindergarten or first grade, and I do not remember it. But wasn't that about vampires? Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. Seriously. Horror movies have a romance in them. I suppose it could be found. I suppose it could be found, but I don't want to watch long enough to find it. Vampires, werewolves. Okay, Amy. Um, yeah. Oh, anyway, I love you all. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you liked our discussion tonight. And turn on your notification bell so you won't miss when I do a live or have a new upload or whatever. And if you want, share it with friends, your author friends. So, because our main goal is especially with Wednesday nights, that's all about the writing. Friday nights, I think we're going to just call it a weekly recap. Let's talk about it, whatever. And that's where we pretty much talk about anything that trips our trigger. And I had a whole list of stuff I wanted to talk tonight. Legal cases I'm following, trials I'm following, missing people cases that I'm following. And there was just not enough time when this whole New York Times BS hit me. So anyway, I love you all. I think you all are awesome and amazing. And I'm glad you're here with me every week. And don't forget to join our Discord group, the Cheeky Wench Cafe. Somebody's got it in here. I can't think. I need to eat. The Cheeky Cafe and Sprint. Yes, thank you. over on Discord. Anyway, we love you all. I'm so glad you're here. Shannon is my producer, so I want to give her a big hug. And just a hug to all of you. Have a great weekend. I'm going to go help my sister move tomorrow. I wish I was moving her, next door or across the street or on my block, but no, she's going to live 2.5 hours away from me. And that's okay. All our grandkids are there, so I understand. Anyway, you all have a great night. Stay warm. And may your bra strap not break. And may your coffee be hot. And may your muse sing to you sweetly this weekend. I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great night. Love you all. Bye. Mwah!